Okay, we are doing it. So here's my fancy chords. Maybe at some point I will be better, more cool. All right, we have a delay. So we got to mute that. All right, welcome. I'm excited to be here again, doing the thing. And let me see if I can just get these things a little bit in order here. All right. Okay. So my next, here we go. Let's do it. All right. I'm putting my feet in and moving my exercise ball. All right. Good morning. Here we go. There you go. Look at that. All right. Good to stretch while we work out. So where are you today? If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment and tell me what you're doing for your workout. I am curious. I know we had somebody on the treadmill yesterday. We had somebody on the bike yesterday, and me doing the fish flop. All right. Okay, today I want to tell you a story, and I want you to be thinking um, about this in your life too. So the topic of my story is the strongest woman I ever knew. But there are so many strong women that I can't really stick with the strongest. Oh, hello, kitty cat. Morning. So I'm just going to tell you the story of a strong woman that I once knew. I mean, I once knew her, I've heard stories about her, is in my family history or something like that. So a lot of years ago, um, when I was going through a divorce, I realized I found myself as a single mother. And I didn't really know very much about being a single mother. I didn't think I knew very much about it. And my parents were out of the country at the time. And so I was very much, trying to navigate that world. Um, I didn't have a lot of relatives um, that had been through that kind of experience. Uh, but on the other hand, they did because my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, had also been a single mother for a period of time and had been through a divorce. And I don't know how long she was single, but I remembered my mother telling stories about her and the kind of woman that she was. And I knew her too. She's my grandma. So I remember her one time she came to visit us when we lived in Oklahoma when we were kids. And my parents must have gone on a trip or something because she stayed with us and we dropped my parents off at the airport, if I remember correctly, and we were in some kind of, I remember it being some kind of sedan that she was driving. We had a lot of kids, so I don't know where the rest of the kids were. But I do know that she got lost, and this was before the days of GPS, and we were driving around. She was trying to figure out where she was and stuff, and I just remember being like, "Oh my gosh, are we lost?" And she started laughing with that delightful grandmother laugh, and she said, "We're not lost. We're right here. We know right where we are. We are all right here." Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So anyway, she ended up taking us to McDonald's and buying us a drink and probably a hamburger. And likely she asked someone there how to get to wherever it was we were trying to get to. and we went on home. But I loved her example of, like she just was not, maybe she was bothered, maybe she was worried, but she wasn't bothered. She wasn't worried. And certainly she didn't give any sense of worry or bother uh, to us. And so that was pretty cool. But my mom used to tell stories about her as well. She would so what happened with her, so this is an interesting story. She was married. She married the love of her life, um, presumably. I don't know. I didn't never know him. But when she was expecting their first baby, he had a massive heart attack. And he was a young man. They were young, right? She didn't really know how to drive. It was winter. He was having a heart attack in bed. This was years and years and years ago. She went to get help, but she didn't drive super well, and also it was winter, and she slid off the road. This is what I remember of the story. My mom will have to correct me if I'm wrong about it, but anyway, I just think about that really tragic time as she lost her husband and she was expecting a child, um and she was very, very much alone. And she was a very beautiful woman and she was very capable in many ways. And I don't know how long she was single after her baby was born. I know that things were hard for her. Because I remember talking to her during my single years, and her telling me that, um, that she was she had to figure things out. Well, I don't know so much about that time, but she was young, she was very beautiful, she was very capable, and she married again really soon. And I think that she just expected that because she'd had such a good experience the first time, that she would have a very good experience the second time. But apparently that wasn't the case, and he was kind of irresponsible. I think there was alcohol involved. And my mother's earliest memory of her father was actually helping her mom put his stuff on the porch, telling her to get lost. Well, at this point, I think she had three more children. And of course, life was, hitting her pretty hard. And back in those days, they didn't have a lot of welfare programs or anything for single moms. So she worked. She did a lot of working. She was able to secure a home somehow in all of that. And I don't know the details of that, but I do know from my own experience of being single that you figure things out and you just work at it. So she did. She figured some stuff out. She was able to secure a duplex as her home, and she would rent out one side and live in the other. And my mom, as she tells it, she remembers that um her mom would rent out whichever side the renter wanted. So they were always moving from one side to the other so she could rent out the other side. And having moved 28 times in my life, that's just funny. But she was just doing whatever was necessary to provide for her family. And then she later met and married my grandpa, who had custody of his daughter, which was kind of unheard of in the day. But he was a veteran and a really good man. And then I say my grandpa because that's the one that I know as my grandpa. And then they had another job together. But anyway, her resilience and her willingness to just do things. And my mom just always talked about her as being the party girl, right? She was always, and not party like you're thinking, right? But the party girl of, like, she was always ready to take whatever the situation was and turn it into something fun or funny, and just really work with whatever life circumstances were at the time. She was a very joyful woman. So what about you? What do you hope that your grandchildren will be telling? What kind of stories do you hope they'll be telling about you? I think about this because I have grandchildren now, and I hope that they remember that I was fun and resilient, and not that I was always telling them to, you know, get to work. I don't know. So, but it has made me stop and think a little bit about what is the legacy um that I'm leaving to my family, to my children and others. So, all right, well, let's see. I'm trying to see if I can see any comments, just in case anybody's here, because oh my gosh. Hey, I'm getting my workout in one way or another, right? Okay, so YouTube is very distracting. Looking at it on my phone, and I have to like stay focused here so I don't get lost. If you're with me, I'd love to hear the story of resilience. Okay, it looks like there is a message. Maybe it's just a heart. Oh, look at that. And we have finished. Okay, here we go. Well, thank you for joining me today. And I'm looking to just see if I might be my own top fan this morning, which is fine. Um, but if you're catching it on the replay, then please comment in the comments. I would love to hear your resilient stories. Have a great day.